All right, let's try this again. Welcome in, Buffaloes fans, Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy fans, whatever you want to call yourselves. I'm your host of the Buffaloes podcast, Graham the GShow Forsyth, back here on this Thursday night, a bit later than usual. We had a big technical difficulty that ended the original stream that was going, so decided to make a new one. And yeah, we're back here on this Thursday. I wasn't back with you guys last Thursday, was going through some stuff, but I'm okay now. Just want to let you guys know, if you ever need anyone to talk to, friends and family are a great resource, and it really helped me through. So yeah, tonight's episode of the Buffaloes podcast, it's coming later because I actually had just gotten back 30 minutes ago or 40 minutes ago at this point from doing a hockey game, recording one for the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League between the St. Vital Junior Victorias and the St. Boniface Reals. It was a great game filled with a lot of goals. So if you guys want to check it out, it's going to be uploaded by tomorrow on our YouTube channel here on GShow Productions. Very talented league, and it was a very exciting game, like I said, tonight. The Buffaloes podcast is brought to you by Make Canada Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. They got store locations in Brandon and Winnipeg, so be sure to check those out if you have a chance. Also, if you have a chance, be sure to check out their website, makecanadafasteners.shop. We're also brought to you by Terrico. They've been serving Manitoba producers in the agricultural industry for over 80 years. Visit their website at terrico.ca to check out all the great products that they have. And yeah, we're also brought to you by Goaltenders, Gordy Tumelson's brand, your goalie's personal video review service. Go one-on-one on Zoom with Gordy Tumelson, and if you're a goaltender, that is, and learn from one of the best. Visit his website at gordytumelsongoalies.ca to learn more about what he offers. So yeah, tonight's edition of the Buffaloes podcast, I'm going to be telling you guys about what's coming up and what's happened in the past week for the Buffaloes at Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy for the teams that were in action. Also going to be featuring player interviews and some footage from their social media pages, some videos that the Academy has cooked up. So yeah, in terms of the player interviews, starting off tonight's episode is Jack Perrier of the U17 Prep Buffaloes. I'm going to be talking to him about, what it's been like being at Pilot Mountain so far, what it's been like this season so far playing with the U17s, and some other stuff. You won't want to miss it coming up here on episode 4 of the official Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy podcast on GShow Productions, brought to you by Make Canada Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, and Goaltenders. Jack Perrier up next. Joining me now on this edition of the Buffaloes podcast is number 17, U17 Prep Male Buffaloes forward from Darlington, Manitoba, Jack Perrier. Jack, great to have you on the show, man. I know that your team's going to be setting off for Calgary, Alberta in about 2 days' time. You excited for the upcoming trip?
Yeah, yeah, just gotta focus on getting packed next, I guess.
Yeah. What's the packing routine for Jack Perrier on a trip like this?
Um, I'm a big guy of forgetting things, so I always get the dress clothes and the dry line gear first, and then worry about the other stuff. But definitely gotta get the buffalo gear in there. So
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm a guy that forgets to pack, a few things here and there. So we're alike in that way. But from Darlington, Manitoba, you joined Pilot Mountain back 2 seasons ago was your first year in 2021, 2022. What went into that decision for you to join this academy as that next place for you to play?
um, and it was good hockey. I saw like development I could have potentially had, so I just felt like it would have been a wise decision to pick Pilot Mound.
Yeah, and I mean for you in your first season, you only had the one assist in your rookie year. and you played 33 games, and then you upped that by quite a bit, going over a point per game, 31 points in 28 games played last year. Was that more so you just feeling more comfortable in the second year? What exactly went into last season of that big boost in point production for you, in your opinion?
Um, I think I just felt more confident on the ice. I was with a couple teammates from the year before, so like I don't know, the chemistry was probably pretty good between us. So it just I don't know happened to make lots of plays with them, which ended up getting me quite a bit of points and goals and everything. So yeah.
Did you feel because of being on ice as much as, you guys are at Pilot Mound, being able to improve the skating, obviously working on all the other skills, you feel like that played a huge part in it as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like on the ice every day really like I think improved my like just every attribute I had. So yeah, that played a big factor in that.
You were playing at the U15 level for the first two seasons. You're at the U17 level now, but last season you earned two games to be called up with the U17 squad. What was that experience like? You were able to pot a goal in one of those two games, being able to play a level up, being rewarded for your big season.
Yeah, I was obviously nervous for that being called up by Rick, but I guess because I knew some of the guys too from the year before, just I don't know, like put them in line with some of the teammates I have now, and I don't know, it just clicked.
Yeah, nice to hear. Obviously, nice when you're able to come up and you're able to click with those boys, able to, know them from the year before being in the academy. But dive more into what the bonding has been like, being able to grow with the players that are still there and also being able to meet some new ones along the way.
Yeah, like yeah, I've met like kids all the way from Australia, even like yeah, that's been super good for the academy to bring in people from like places everywhere. Literally, I met people from Taiwan, even like I just feel like that's a good quality to have in Pilot Lounge.
Right. You feel like that's maybe one of the coolest things, being able to play here, playing hockey, being on the ice every single day, and being able to meet people from different cultures, different places from around the world.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I find that quite interesting too, of how they found out about the little town of Pilot Mound in the league of the CSSHL. So yeah, that's pretty remarkable actually.
Take me back to the time when they found you, Jack. What those conversations were like. I know it's a few years ago now at this point, but yeah, what those conversations were like, and what exactly, you already talked about what drew you in, but how it ended up leading you to sign with the academy.
Yeah, well, when I first heard about the U15 program, I was at some skates in Pilot Mound just for a couple of buddies. And then I got to talk with the coach, and then yeah, I just got hooked on from there. And ever since then, I wanted to play Pilot Mound. So
Yeah, right on, right on. We talked about how you've been able to develop, how the ice time has been able to help you. Knowing the people, clicking with the people has definitely helped too from playing with them the first year U15 to the second year. But could you speak about where you feel like your game individually has really seen a growth in terms of the skill set that you have?
um, I feel like the main part of my game that's like been improved the most is just like finding myself open in like areas and like putting myself in the spots where the D won't think I would be. And then as this season, I've seen myself being way more of like a playmaker type player instead of a goal scorer. So I don't know. That's just I feel faster and everything too. So that's a big thing.
Right on. Yeah, you got 4 assists in the 6 games played so far. Out of those 5 points, you feel like that also, makes you that much more of a dangerous player, knowing that you can also put that puck in the net as well as setting your teammates up.
Yeah, and especially when the boys are like talking to you after the game about like saying nice dish, everything is like yeah, it just really gets your confidence up about what you can do out there.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously confidence playing a huge part in terms of that big jump. But what has it been like playing against the competition in the CSSHL, the CSSHL? earlier on about a decade ago, or I don't know if I'm exactly right with that number, but it used to be AAA hockey was the place to play. The CSSHL has grown into that place to play more so for the top players around the country here in Canada. Could you speak about what it's been like facing off against some of the best competition that your age level has to offer throughout the first 2 years being here?
Yeah, like the CSSHL, it's crazy how much it's grown with like the players it's been producing. Like, have a look at Bedard who joined the league early, and then now look at him. Like, that's pretty cool thing. And then Gavin McKenna who just went first, and then Daxton Rudolph who went first in the WHL draft. Like, I don't know, that's pretty good for being like a fairly new league.
Yeah, and everyone knows the story about Connor Bedard at this point, first overall pick for the Chicago Blackhawks, of course. Might pick him in a fantasy hockey draft coming up here, but we'll have to wait and see. I gotta ask you, you boys do a fantasy hockey draft at all at Pilot Mound? Is that a thing that's set up?
Yeah, I think we're gonna make one, but we also, I don't know, quite a bit of the team likes football too, so I don't know. We kind of got both sports going at it.
Right on. So you big football fan outside of hockey?
Not me personally, but like I don't know, I've been pushed into it from all the other guys, so I'm getting, I don't know, closer to it.
Oh, right on. So you're playing fantasy football this year.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hop on that for sure.
Oh, right on, right on. Well, fantasy football is a lot of fun. Fantasy sports is a lot of fun, and it's just a great way to get the boys together, whoever you're drafting with, to bond that way. But talk about what the experience has been like so far this year, Jack. Playing with obviously some familiar faces, playing with some new faces. How you felt personally that this U17 Buffaloes group has bonded so far throughout the first 6 games you guys have played so far.
I feel like the group has really like I don't know. We all seem like really close already. Like it's pretty. I don't know, like because I showed up late to the first couple of days of Palamon, and all the boys were already all buddy buddy. So I was like, that's pretty good already to be going. And one of the guys has a good nickname already, which I'm probably not going to be able to say on this show, but
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I appreciate that out of the respect for the Buffaloes podcast, of course. Keep that between you and the boys. But yeah, I mean, you're off to a pretty good start this season, almost a point per game through the exhibition game so far, 5 points in 6 games played. As mentioned, excuse me. What have you felt has been the key to your fast start this season, heading into your third season here at Pilot Mound?
I just feel like my confidence level is just through the roof to be playing again with all the guys, and especially the guys I know already. Like it makes it way easier if you know like what guys will be doing on the ice when you're friends with them and everything, and like how they'll react and everything. So yeah.
Obviously, as mentioned, you had a chance to play 2 games last season with the U17s. How have you felt that though that little sample size of games has it helped you at all to start off the year in terms of adding on with the confidence?
Yeah, that was a big thing for me because like I got to some of the guys that came back I already got to know and everything, and like some of the guys that I didn't really bond with at that time was like I'm bonding really good with now. So like they just remember me as the guy that got pulled up, I guess. So
Right on. And it's been pretty easy getting to get along with the coaches and Rick McConnell and his staff.
yeah, Rick's really good, and same with Danny. He was my coach last year, so yeah, it's really easy to communicate with them whenever.
Right on, right on. Well, you boys are coming off of 2 very positive games, back-to-back wins against the Notre Dame Hounds back in Whitewood, Saskatchewan, and then most recently on the 28th, you boys traveled to Winnipeg to play against the Rink Hockey Academy and won 4-1. It's been a lot of close games for you boys so far this year, besides the first game where it was a blowout. You boys gave up quite a few goals, but ever since then, they've been pretty close games. Talk about this past 2 games though, what it's been like, to have that type of success against two historically pretty good hockey teams.
I don't know. The boys were just I don't know. After Thunder Bay, when our first games when we got blown out that first game, we were all superstitious about the bus legs being a effect on it. But after that rink game, I think we blown that one out the door. So that's a good thing. And then when we played Notre Dame, we just came really ready since we lost the game right after that to a close game. So yeah, we just felt ready that we need to start getting the work in.
Yeah, right on. Bus legs have been brought up earlier on in the show by Piper Miller, the U18 female forward for the Buffaloes that was on this show. So great that you boys were able to get over the hump of that. But so a lot of games coming up for you boys in 4 straight days from this Friday to the Thanksgiving Monday in Calgary, Alberta. Of course, opening up regular season action finally for the CSSHL 2023-2024 season. How excited are the boys to, hop on the bus and make the trip over to Calgary and finally get the regular season rolling?
Oh, we are all buzzing over here. Like all the boys are hyped to get playing. And the practice today, we were even saying like how we could do really good this weekend if we actually just like focus up and get the legs going early. Because our first periods, I don't think have been our strongest suits. So we just got to get an early lead, I think, and we can do pretty good.
So you'd say that at this point, it's just about building those good habits of playing a complete 60-minute game, starting fast right off the bat.
Yeah, I think that's would be like the biggest thing for us is just to get a good first period, and then after that, just build off that.
Obviously, you boys haven't had a chance to play at home yet this season in terms of exhibition or anything at all. Is it a bit different, playing on the road in so many games? Is that something that you boys feel accustomed to, obviously, already playing all 6 games so far on the road?
I think the guys like the road. I don't know. It's more of like a professional feeling when you get on the bus and everything, and then you just get to go play in some nice rink that is not expected to be playing in. So, and then you get to see all the different things around you. Like when we went to Thunder Bay, you got to see all the different things there. It was super cool. Yeah.
I guess building off that too, yeah, right. I mean, a professional feeling, but also it seems like, you boys getting to bond so much already, spending time with each other every single day. It adds even more into that bonding experience of being able to be with the team and experience the different things like seeing the sights in Thunder Bay and the other places you've been on the road. Talk about how huge you feel that, these bus trips and everything is added on to that bonding so far this year.
Yeah, like guys, I don't know. When you're on the bus, you gotta know who you're wanting to sleep with against the aisle. So that's a big bonding thing. Like I get to sleep with a new teammate that I never even knew before this. So that was something I guess that I get to learn. But on the bus, guys act way different. It seems like so. That's a big thing that you get to see the other side of them.
Right on, right on. Last question I'm going to ask you here, Jack, is do you have a superstition while you're on a bus ride? Something you like to do, something that you make of a habit, or you just kind of go along with whatever comes your way?
Whenever I'm on the bus, I always get me banana milk. I don't know. I just always have to get that, and
Yeah.
then I always have to have my blanket and pillow. I always have to. No matter where we go, I always have to have it.
I love that banana milk answer. I love banana milk myself. I wish they sold it in the 2 liter jugs. They used to when I was growing up as a kid, but yeah, I only see them in the milk to goes now. Is that what you get, the banana milk to goes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always get that in the milk just so I have another flavor too. But me, I like my banana milk. So
Yeah, right on, man. Well, that's a terrific choice. And I mean, for a terrific talent, Jack Perrier, who put up over a point per game last season with the Pilot Mountain Buffaloes, looking to build off that this year as his team, the U17 Prep Buffaloes, start their regular season this Friday, starting a 4-game stretch in Calgary coming up on the 6th. So Jack, best of luck to you and the team coming up this weekend, and thanks for making the time and coming on the Buffaloes podcast for this episode number 4.
thank you. It was a pleasure.
And that was Jack Perrier of the U17 Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy of Buffaloes joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast for episode 4. And for Jack Perrier so far this season, He's got 9 points in 11 games played, which is pretty darn good. Of course, he went over a point per game last season, really finding his confidence as he spoke about with the Academy's U15 team. Even had a chance to get called up to play some U17 games. So, yeah, great for him to be accustomed to the coaching staff heading into this season, and great for him to be able to play with some friends that he's been able to bond with and meet some new ones as well. And speaking of the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy Buffaloes U17 team in terms of how they fared in their past games, I'm just trying to take a look here. You're going to see a black screen for just a moment. I'm going to disappear. That's the U15s. Here we are, the U17s. So yeah, this past weekend, the U17s out in Calgary to play their first regular season games of the season in the CSSHL. They dropped the first one, 6-4 to Fairmount Hockey Academy. And then they won the rest of their games 4-3 over the Rink Hockey Academy from Kelowna Red team, 6-3 over the Okanagan Hockey Academy Black team, and 3-0 over the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Academy. And speaking of the U17s, take a look at this beauty from Carson Carrolls this past weekend. And an absolute beauty there from Carson Carroll, showcasing how good he really is when he gets that puck in the offensive zone. A little shimmy shake getting by the defenseman and unloading that really good shot. He went in the first round for a reason in last year's WHL draft, and he showcased that this past weekend for Pilot Mound. 17 points in 11 games played now for number 2 for the U17s. We're going to throw it over to some female content now. I had a chance to talk to Piper Miller about the upcoming home game she had at the time, the first time that they were playing at home at Pilot Mound Hockey Academy this season. The U18 prep female team will have a emotional video for you guys to show afterwards where they honored their teammate ahead of their home opener that unfortunately passed away last season in Callie Joseph. But yeah, we didn't get into that. I just had a chance to talk to Piper about what it's been like being in Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, and what, the upcoming year she's hoping to accomplish, and much more coming up on this edition of the Buffaloes podcast for episode 4, brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, and Goaltenders. I got number 18 of the U18 prep female Buffaloes joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast, and Piper Miller. She's from Fort Frances, Ontario. It's her second season with the Academy this year. Piper, thanks for taking the time during a spare block that you have on this Wednesday. How are you doing on this Wednesday, a day before the podcast?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Just got off school, so happy to be here and to be talking to you. Speaking of school, how's the school life been at Pilot Mound, throughout your first 2 years so far at the academy?
It's been really good. There's a lot of support. The teachers are really nice, and as well as you have your teammates and the other boys' teams and everything. So you have a lot of support around you in the class and everything.
How's that support been for you in terms of transitioning, moving away from home into a small town Pilot Mound?
It's been pretty good. I mean, it's no different for me really than back home, where it's the teachers mostly know everybody and they're always there to offer help, and so that's a great big thing, especially when we're on the road as much as we are.
Is that a big reason why you decided to go play at Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, knowing that there's some hockey academies that sure can offer a good player development experience, but in Pilot Mound, it's the sense of, they know exactly who all the players are. You're not just a number, another person. They actually get to know you as a player.
Yeah, that was a big thing for sure, was making sure I'd be getting a good education, and that's hard when you're traveling as much as we are, but um the teachers offer a good amount of support, and everybody cares. Same with the coaches, like lots of them help on the road and everything. So it's awesome.
Outside of that, is there any other reason in particular why Pilot Mound stood out to you in terms of the place where you wanted to take your hockey development to that next step?
Yeah, I met a lot of nice people when I had come down the first time, and I got to know the place, and it's a small town, and I like the smaller towns better than like the bigger towns and everything. So that was definitely a big factor.
In terms of the hockey side of things, could you speak to, the development that you've seen in terms of how your game has grown, just in terms of last year alone, and then, of course, heading into this year?
Yeah, especially coming from just playing like high school level hockey, it's a big jump with the competition. And so the first couple times were a little bit rough getting used to that level, but then the development on ice, like we're on ice 5 times a week, and on top of that, we have off ice training. So it's like a lot of work, and it's perfect to kind of get you ready for that. And I think it's really good.
Could you speak about the competition that you faced off against last year and this year as well, how you adjusted to the sort of competition that you and the girls were facing? I got number 18 of the U18 prep female Buffaloes joining here.
Yeah, that was a big thing for sure, was making sure like I'd be getting a good education, and that's hard when you're traveling as much as we are, but um the teachers offer a good amount of support, and like everybody cares. Same with the coaches, like lots of them help on the road and everything, so it's awesome.
Outside of that, is there any other reason in particular why Pilot Mound stood out to you in terms of the place where you wanted to take your hockey development to that next step?
Yeah, I met a lot of nice people when I had come down the first time, and I got to know the place, and it's a small town, and I like the smaller towns better than like the bigger towns and everything. So that was definitely a big factor.
In terms of the hockey side of things, could you speak to, the development that you've seen in terms of how your game has grown, just in terms of last year alone, and then, of course, heading into this year?
Yeah, especially coming from just playing like high school level hockey, it's a big jump with the competition. And so the first couple times were a little bit rough getting used to that level, but then the development on ice, like we're on ice 5 times a week, and on top of that, we have off ice training. So it's like a lot of work, and it's perfect to kind of get you ready for that. And I think it's really good.
Could you speak about the competition that you faced off against last year and this year as well, how you adjusted to the sort of competition that you and the girls were facing?
The competition I mean, it's not much different this year, but there's a lot of girls that are playing now NCAA D1 or played for Team Canada, for instance, and that's a crazy thing to think about when you're in grade 10 or grade 11, and everything. And so it's a big step, and it's hard, but it's also a great experience, and you learn to keep up with them and play with them, and yeah.
For you, is that somewhere where you want to take your game to that next level of playing college hockey and maybe even someday hopefully playing for Team Canada for their national team?
Of course, and I think that's everyone's dream, honestly. But for me, especially, like, yeah, I do want to play. I want to take it to the college level. I want to take it to a pro level if I can, and like all that. So that's something I'm striding for. Yes.
In terms of you as a player last season, you put up 8 points in 30 CSSHL games. You had 4 points in 10 exhibition slash tournament games. Could you speak to what type of player you are out there in terms of what you bring to the table for this Buffalo squad?
Um, I definitely not always gonna be the one putting up all the points. But I work out there to help make sure my teammates can put up the points for sure. I'd rather enforce like screening the goalie and like making sure our girls are getting clean shots and not taking anything bad, I guess. I don't really know how to word that, but yeah.
Right, fair enough. Not hurting the team, not costing the team, staying
Yeah.
discipline out there. And yeah, you had 37 penalty minutes last year in 30 games played. Is that something you want to improve upon this season in terms of lowering that number?
Yeah, that's a goal for me this year is lowering that for sure, and that'll take some time, but I think I'll get there.
Could you speak to, which parts of your game you felt last year developed the most in terms of with the games you played to the practices, the ice time you were able to have with Pilot Mountain?
We focused really heavy on D zone a lot last year, so that was something that really improved was my D zone coverage. And it also helps I used to play center, so if we're ever in a situation where we end up on a penalty kill or something and there's two wingers out there, I can always pop in and cover like a centerman role essentially.
So you feel like that versatility gives you even more of an advantage out there.
Yeah.
Right on, right on. Well, in terms of this season coming up, you girls have been able to play a few games at this point. Could you talk about, what you've seen in your game, maybe where you've seen some improvements from what you were planning to build off from last year to this year?
A big thing is where from the playing and everything is just readjusting to new teammates again. So getting to know them and then working in how I play with them and making sure it works in a good way to benefit the team. So that was a thing that I'm improving right now. And from last year to this year, it's just picking up where we left off. So we left off on a bit of a high note for how we were competing. And so we're kind of keeping that high note right now and keeping the physicality of play that we play at.
Right on. And speaking of teammates, how's it been getting to know the new teammates and reacquainting yourself with the teammates you got a chance to spend time with last season, all season long?
It's been really good. We're a really close team this year, and I think that's a big thing, especially like on the ice. Is that's one way we keep each other up is we're really close, and so it's easy to be like, hey, like shake it off, like it's okay, like we know how each other play. So it's like when you see someone getting down, it's a lot easier than if you weren't very close with them, and it's like don't really know what to say. So that's I think that's a really good thing for us this year, and reconnecting with the old teammates from last year has been really nice as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you girls this past weekend had a chance to go out and explore, a different part of the country here in Canada, going to BC. How cool is that? I mean, you got to spend time outside of the province last season, but getting that chance to experience these different places in Canada and spend time with your team there.
Yeah, it's always really nice, especially for like when you have teammates that have never been there before. Like for me, that was me last year, but this year it's like, oh, you get to see like they've never been here before, and that's really cool. And especially with some coming from the US and other parts of Canada, it's just a really cool experience being with them for that.
So you kind of alluded to it in terms of showing teammates new ones, new experiences. How excited are you to step into more of that mentorship?
Any different? Like, yeah, okay, I'm a returning player, but we all lead each other and it's not just one single person leading the whole team. It's everyone on our team is definitely like showing that they can lead out there. And being a second year, it's just being more of one that they look to for help and stuff. So it's really nice.
Right, for sure. Kind of that all in one mentality with the squad, which is great to hear. This past weekend you girls were able to play a few games. You guys more specifically in your second last game of the weekend went 3-2 in a shootout, but then got blown out 15-3. Obviously some ups and some downs from this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
BC. Speak about, what it was like from your experience and the team's experience this past week and going up against that competition and suffering a big loss, but also having some positive moments.
Yeah, it's we didn't really know entirely what to expect, but like we knew what to expect going into the weekend as it was like our first weekend and we had played essentially a new team, the North Shore Warriors there, and we didn't know what to expect from them at all. And even though we didn't come out with the win on that, it was our first game at the CSSHL level. We had just come from a 22-hour bus ride. Like we were in our we had heavy legs. Like as much as you want to shake that off, sometimes you just can't. And I think that definitely was a factor in that. And I think all the teams we played could have been a lot closer or gone our way more. Um, which honestly sometimes that happens. And I think we all expected some things not to go our way and some things will go our way, and it showed out there. Like we didn't stop fighting. We worked for what we came out with, but sometimes it just didn't come out in our favor, but it didn't stop us from trying.
Yeah, for sure. And you would probably say that, and I'd like to you to expand on this, but no matter the score, the big goal for you girls this season, like any other season, I assume, is to never stop fighting and to never stop quitting out there. Can you talk about how you feel that's going to lead to the growth of this team heading in a positive direction as the season goes along?
Yeah, I mean, if we were to stop fighting in matches where, like against Delta there, where it was 15-3, if we would have just stopped trying, it definitely could have been a much worse score. And I mean, we held them 1-1 in the first period, and they only got six on us in the second there, and we managed to score more goals on weekend than any other team has in the CSSHL yet. So that's a big thing, and um it's definitely showing that we're not going to stop. And with that, I think as soon as we show that we're not stopping to any team, I think we'll start coming out with wins.
Yeah, right on, right on. That's all you can do, right? Try your hardest and never
Yeah.
quit throughout those full 60 minutes. Well, exciting times for you girls, of course, on this Thanksgiving weekend coming up. You got to play at home, first two home games of the season, coming up against St. Mary's Academy and Rink Hockey Academy, Winnipeg. How nice is that going to be to step on ice for, two games for the first time at Blackjack Stewart Arena at the home barn?
Yeah, it's always exciting that first couple home games. And I mean they're all exciting, but the first one's always like your nerves are going a little bit more and you're stepping in the your own barn the first time again or for the first time in general, and it's always exciting to see the turnout. I think we have a couple of the boys teams here, so it'll be louder in there this weekend for sure.
Right on. You girls are looking to feed off of that energy from the hometown support, obviously, from the teams that'll be probably watching.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
we will be.
right on, right on. Well, one last question for you here, Piper. What's the week of preparation been like so far? Obviously, it seems like, week to week, it's pretty much the same type of stuff that you used to get prepared with. But could you take us into what the team has been doing this week to prepare for the upcoming weekend of games at home?
For so Monday and Tuesday were travel days, and Monday we played a game. So I think lots of us have mostly been just kind of thinking back to the games on the weekend, and lots of us will watch over video play from like the weekend and see kind of where we can fix things, what we can fix, how we can fix them, work on those little by little to try and improve our game before this weekend. And I mean, there's not much time until this weekend, seeing as we just got back last night. But with the little time that we do, fixing tiny little pieces can make a very big impact.
Right.
So
Right, for sure. It's just about focusing on those little things, trying to get better. That's awesome to hear. And I wish you and your teammates the best of luck coming up this weekend. Playing at home for the first time in this 2023-2024 season of hockey in the CSSHL as well in that action of play. Piper Miller, number 18 of the Buffalo's U18 prep female team, joining myself, Graham the GShow Forsyth, on this Wednesday afternoon for this Buffaloes episode that's going out on Thursday night. Piper, thanks for taking the time.
yeah, thanks for having me.
And I don't know what's happening with OBS tonight. It's really making me not too pleased. But there was Piper Miller of the U18 female prep Buffaloes. And yeah, they had a chance to play in their home opener this past weekend. And yeah, let's take a look at how that actually went for the squad. We'll have to take my camera off once again. But yeah, they ended up taking a win against the Rink Hockey Academy from Winnipeg 5-3 on Thanksgiving Sunday. They dropped their home opener on the day before, on the Saturday. 3-1 against St. Mary's Hockey Academy. So they came out of the weekend with a split. And yeah, I mean, for this U18 female team, it's all about improving and getting better from here on out. There's been some stuff happening with them. They face some adversity. But, you know, I have a good feeling that they'll continue to learn and grow as this season goes along. Speaking of the U18 female prep team, Saturday marked an occasion where they had a ceremony before the opening puck drop. Some words for a former teammate in Callie Joseph, who unfortunately passed away last season for Pilot Mound. And yeah, it was a moment filled with emotion, her teammates being able to speak about Callie and what type of person she was, and they even had a moment of silence too. So take a listen to that right now, of Callie Joseph.
Anytime she walked into a room, it would light up with joy and happiness. Kelly had the most contagious smile and laugh, while making everyone feel warm. She was such a hard worker on and off the ice, and showed greatly in every game and every practice she was at. Kelly had huge dreams of going to Moore High School and eventually playing for UNP, while studying to become a teacher. She always talked about raising a family with her loving boyfriend Brendan on Lake Superior in Duluth. Since her and Evan's passing, the hole in her heart has not been filled, though their memory will forever be remembered. Callie was not only my teammate, but she was my cousin and my best friend as well. I wish she was here today so we could continue our different loving work together. Everyone had a little else to have the dreams and making it to our work and the others that we had. I'm grateful to her parents for their house and for community and other time and the traditional holidays. For Joseph Brown, who always thought he was in my heart, all the love and support you provide me. Callie and Evan were going far in hockey, so we'll continue to play for Joseph Brown. We are so grateful that we get to honor and love them around the ceremonies, while they're tuning in practice. We will continue to share your love with us, love to see more than you can imagine. All for forever love our Kelly. You should have both dancing and singing. You should live in that. With pride and love in your hearts and those more songs. The youth is free for dancing guitars with smiling on their faces. Growing up with Callie and Evan was with love and love, with joy and happiness. I cherish every moment with both Callie and Evan, as well as hearing them proud. I hold a special place for the Josephs in my heart and forever will. They all have the sweetest souls. I love them so much. We are sending love to those affected by this loss. Callie and Evan's spirit live on in memories of those who love them. May everyone please stand for a moment of silence to honor Callie and Evan, to give support to the Joseph family and everyone hurt by this tragic loss. Our thoughts and prayers with you, Joseph.
And yeah, just a moment you could see with her teammates on their faces, you know, how hard of a moment it truly was. And yeah, heart goes out to the Joseph family and everyone that loved Callie. I never got to meet her personally, and you know, when I heard about the news last season when Pilot Mound had posted about it, it was really sad to see a young girl with her whole life ahead of her, unfortunately, having it stripped away. And no doubt the Buffaloes this season, the returning players and the new ones, will be playing for a number 4. Rest in peace, Callie Joseph, gone too soon. Let's get back into a lighter note. We are going to throw it to an interview that I had, the final interview of this episode, with Corey Nilsson, player that hasn't had a chance to play so far this year for Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy on their U18 prep male squad due to injury. I had a chance to ask him about, just what the rehab process has been like, his past few seasons at Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, and we also get into talking about some baseball and some college sports, which was kind of fun. So that's coming up next with Corey Nilsson of the U18 Prep Male Buffaloes on the Buffaloes podcast. And a player that hasn't played yet this year for the U18 Buffaloes, but sure, he's hoping to soon. Itching at the bit, chomping at the bit, as the old cliche goes, to get back into playing in game. It's Corey Nilsson, forward on the U18 Prep Male Buffaloes at Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy. Corey, great to have you on the show. How you doing on this Monday night, the night of the recording?
I am good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. It's been a busy day as always, but great to be here talking to you, getting into the stuff that we're gonna get into. First off, you're not from Manitoba, you're not even from Canada, you're from Fairfield, Ohio. How exactly did you find out about Pilot Mound and decide to join the academy back in 2021, 2022?
So they reached out to me off of a profile I had on a website, and then we started talking from there. And then I decided to come out here because I thought it'd be a good opportunity to get better.
How were those conversations like at the time?
They were pretty good. They were just saying they like how I play, and they would think I would do really good playing here. So that's why I came out.
And what type of player is Corey Nilsson? You haven't put up the most points throughout your career, but are you more of that defensive, reliable forward, maybe a high energy forward? Who exactly is Corey Nilsson as a hockey player?
I'm more of a defensive forward, but I like to work in the corners really. Just be a workhorse and get the puck for my teammates so they can go score.
Yeah, nice to hear. I mean, everyone plays a different role, and seems like you've been able to play that well throughout the 2 years you've been here with the academy. What's it been like, in terms of developing over at Pilot Mound, being on the ice as many times as you have been, traveling and playing against these different types of teams, against the different competition throughout the CSSHL? How do you feel your game has improved to this point throughout the first 2 years?
It has gotten way better than when I first came here. I've gotten so much better. The development I've gotten from our coaches here is just through the roof.
What's it been like moving away from home, going to Pilot Mound, what the experience has truly been like throughout the first 2 years and into this one?
My first year is pretty hard moving away from home, but after like the first 2 months, I started loving living here. There's nothing to really do here, but it's really just strictly hockey, so I love it.
Yeah, and lots of time to spend with teammates. How's it been bonding with your teammates throughout the 2 years so far?
It's great. It's like a second family I have here. It's really nice. We're all like just boys, and it's great just to wake up and be with your boys all day.
And of course, you're in the new dorms this year. Every single player is the new ones that have finishing construction, last year, and then they started moving people in. This is the first full year that Pilot Mountain's able to host everyone under one roof. How's that been so far? How's that been treating you?
I love the dorms. They're nice. They got that brand new feel to them, and it's just real nice living in these ones.
And seems like players get to customize their rooms however you want. Could you take me through a bit of the setup in your room? I see some nice Christmas lights. Maybe those aren't exactly Christmas lights. I see some nice hats
Yeah.
background, but
So I got hats over there. I got Christmas lights and a flag there. I got a jersey here. And then I got jerseys all along the wall over there. And then just two fridges back there. And just gives me a real homey feel.
right on, man, right on. And I saw some football jerseys in there. Were there also some baseball jerseys?
Yeah, I got some baseball, football, hockey jerseys, pretty much every sport.
Right on, right on. I guess going back to where you grew up in Fairfield, Ohio, is there a sport outside of hockey that you enjoyed playing, outside of the sport?
I really enjoyed playing baseball.
Yeah,
Always had fun playing that.
right on, right on. What position were you?
I was catcher, third base, and second base.
Oh, right on. So a guy that could play multiple positions, that's great.
Oh yeah.
You excited for the MLB playoffs coming up as those are starting right away?
I am, but sadly my team is not in the playoffs this year.
Unfortunate. What team would that be?
Cincinnati Reds.
Cincinnati Reds. No, that's unfortunate because my girlfriend watches baseball religiously. I watch a bit of it, and I saw a highlight clip of the Cincinnati Reds game when they were doing pretty well early on in the season, and the atmosphere looked electric. Did you ever have a
Oh yeah.
chance to go to one of those games?
Oh yeah, I went to a couple and it's just the atmosphere there was just next level. I loved it.
Yeah, right on, right on. Well, hopefully, once you move back to Ohio and after the hockey season and when baseball season is starting up again, you get to experience some more games and get to watch your favorite team, the Cincinnati Reds. But going back to Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, throughout the first two seasons that you've been here, you haven't been able to play this year yet. We'll get into that in just a moment here, but where have you felt you've improved the most as a player throughout your development?
I think I improved the most in my skating, my decision making, pretty much just everything that I do. Because when I first came here, I wasn't very good, and then throughout my first 2 years here, it's just gotten better and better.
Right on. So you feel the confidence has definitely been growing in your game.
Yes,
Right on, right on. And you feel like it's in those ways of the skating and just how you handle yourself on the ice more so.
yes.
Yeah, right on, right on. You haven't had a chance to play this year, unfortunate, but I'm sure you'll be back in the lineup in no time. How's this experience been for you personally? Not being able to play in games, I'm sure that's been devastating so far.
Yeah, it's not fun at all, but just sticking with the rehab process to slowly get back into things, and then next couple weeks I should be back and ready to go to make a difference with our team.
How has that rehab process went? Seems like you're having a pretty positive outlook on it.
Yes, it's going good.
Going good. Anything specifically you've been doing in rehab, like a daily routine? Take me into what the rehab has truly been like and what you've been doing.
I go to physio 2 times a week, and then I also do stretches every night to slowly like build strength and like just get the twisting rotation for my back.
Right on, right on. Well, hopefully you're back on the ice in no time, like you said, should be another 2 weeks. But seems like, the impacted Pilot Mountain that they've had on you has been pretty big this so far. You're going into year three this year. Once step on the ice. Why did you exactly decide to come back and come back for a third year in Pilot Mountain?
Well, I came back because I thought, well, I love the coaches that I had this year. I knew that they would get me to the next level where I want to go, and I just think that these are the best coaches that can get me there and just help me develop.
Yeah, and I mean, coaching is huge and development is huge as well for a player who I assume you don't want this to be the last place you play at in terms of the high level hockey. Do you have hopes to, move on and play at that junior level or even maybe that collegiate level?
Yes.
Yeah, right on. Any place specifically, would you rather go junior, rather college, or is it something that you just kind of go along with it as it comes?
I'd rather go play juniors for a couple years and then go play in college.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be
Yep.
sweet. As you know, you've grown up in the United States where college sports is just another beast compared to what they're like here in Canada. Is that what you would say would draw you the most to wanting to play college is just what the atmosphere brings?
Yes, I would say so. The atmosphere at college games are just unreal, and I just like them so much.
Right on. I guess I gotta ask you, do you have a favorite college team that you follow?
I do. It's the Michigan Wolverines.
Michigan Wolverines. That's a good one. I mean, historical college. I mean, they're pretty solid in all sports from the most of my understanding. Do you prefer one of their teams more than the other? Like maybe their basketball team, their football team, maybe their hockey team?
Just really their hockey and football team. Those
Yeah.
are my favorite ones.
Right on, right on. Well, I know that your Michigan Wolverines have been doing pretty good so far this year in NCAA football, so hoping they can
Okay.
keep that up for sure, for sure. But yeah, being under one roof with your teammates this season, I know that you got to see them, every day pretty much, but you weren't being able to live with them. What's that been like being able to live with these boys under one roof so far this year?
It's great. We're really like bonding together. You can see it on the ice and off the ice. We're really clicking and really just helps to play good when we're all living under one roof.
Have you been able to travel with them to the different places you guys have been so far this year?
I have been.
Yeah, right on, right on. I guess I should ask you this question. Obviously, you learn a lot about, your opponents when you're playing on ice against them, but you learn a lot watching film as well. What's it been like, sitting out and watching the game from a different perspective rather than playing it to start off this year?
I can really pick out a lot more things. It probably will really help me on the ice, seeing those things when I'm off the ice, and now I can just put them into my game, and it's just really helped me out.
Once you get back on the ice this year, Corey, what are the big things you're looking to accomplish from an individual standpoint? Maybe it could be putting up more points, or is it, just building off of the skills you already have that you feel make yourself a strong player?
I would say putting up more points is definitely a big one, but then also just developing and getting better, faster, stronger, developing to the game to get me to that next level.
What's the maturity been like for you throughout the first 2 years of playing in Pilot Mountain? Living away from your mom and dad, from your family, and joining who you say is become a second family at Pilot Mountain.
I've always been mature, so when I came here, I was just kind of joined in right with everyone. It was just everyone's mature and ready to go and enjoying hockey, so it's really nothing too hard to get used to.
Well, that's great to hear. You haven't been feeling homesick at all, I assume.
No, no,
Oh,
not at all.
that's good. That's good. I know for some people, especially when they move away at a young age from their family, homesickness is definitely a common thing. So great to hear that you've handled this transition pretty well throughout your time at Pilot Mountain so far. Have you been able to step on ice at all and skate? Has that been part of the rehabbing process?
Yes, I've been skating for like the past week or and a half, slowly getting back into it.
Right on. What are the things you've been doing? Have you been wearing a non-contact jersey?
I have been. I've just been doing the drills that I can, just without any contact.
Right on, right on. Well, great to hear you've been back on the ice so far. I know for this U18 squad, there's been some moments of good so far this year, some moments of bad. What's your thoughts on, where you feel this team could go this year with the Pilot Mountain U18 squad?
Well, we are a lot better than last year, so that's always a good thing. And then I really think that we can make it middle of the pack, even higher end of it, just to even make playoffs would be a big thing, and that's kind of our main goal this year.
Yeah, right on. I mean, that's a big one for sure. Something that hasn't happened as much in terms of making it into the higher divisions for these teams at Pilot Mountain in terms of the playoffs, more so the consolation side throughout the past few seasons. So great to hear that's a goal that is on your mind as well as some other players I've talked to on your team so far on this show. But speaking of that, you played for the U17 squad in your first 2 seasons of Pilot Mountain. You're going to be playing against some older competition slightly this year coming up. How excited are you to face that older competition when you finally get back in the game?
I'm really excited. It would be a real good test to see how I do when I go play juniors, so I can't wait for that to happen.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens for you this season, Corey, since I'll be announcing some of you guys' games on Flow Sports. It's going to be exciting to, get to see the talent firsthand that Pilot Mountain has to offer, and you're going to be a huge part of that, of course, with what you bring to the lineup once you do get back out there with your defensive play and how you battle in the corners. So I want to thank you for coming on and taking the time once again for joining this week's edition of the Buffaloes podcast, Corey. All the best in year 3 coming up in Pilot Mountain for you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, Corey Nielsen, third year forward in total for Pilot Mountain, but first year forward on the U18 Prep Buffaloes, joining the Buffaloes podcast for this Thursday night. And Corey Nielsen, a man of, few words here on the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy podcast, the Buffaloes podcast, brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, and Goaltenders. But I feel for Corey, I remember going through my fair share of injuries throughout hockey and wasn't playing at a level nearly as high as his. So I hope he can get back on the ice soon because, I don't know if the page is not up to date, but he still has 0 games played. The rest of the team, the most games they've played is 6. And speaking of the U18 male Buffaloes, just to show you guys their past results. Gotta do this again, but they had a rough one last time they were in action, losing 6-1 and 8-1 in back-to-back games. This team, I think that they have some talent to improve on what they've done so far. Definitely a long season ahead, and it's all about getting better at the end of the day. So hopefully Nielsen can join the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy lineup soon. It was great talking to him about his favorite teams like the Cincinnati Reds, as well as his favorite college teams as well. And just hoping that number 13 can be back out on the ice for sure soon, because this team needs him. At the end of the day, they need everyone to be there for them to truly start improving, and Nielsen would be a huge part of that, in my opinion. But in terms of what's coming up, we'll show you that in just a moment. But the U18 female team, they had a chance to go check out an escape room in Penticton, British Columbia, and want to show you guys that now coming up, because it looks like it was a lot of fun for the U18 female Prep Buffaloes. Check it out.
So today we attended the escape room. We have 3 teams of 6, and girls are pretty excited. And
they're challenging. We're gonna see who gets out here first. Bragging rights on the line. It's gonna be a close finish. We're excited to see who comes out on top.
They are an accident. That'll reset the lock. Any questions with those ones?
I don't think so.
Okay, hi! That's it? You guys are good? Oh my god!
How does it feel to be the only group that escaped?
Two. Good for you, you didn't escape. Somebody should use more. Brooke.
Success almost.
Yeah, almost success.
And then Brooks got fail because we all know why. Yourselves.
I'm Ashlyn. I'm Brooke. I'm Piper. I'm Karis. I'm Heidi. I'm Julia.
And what escape room did you guys do today?
The casino heist.
Did you guys escape?
No.
Else?
I'm Addison Scoville.
I'm Jasmine Elkins.
I'm Bailey Allen.
I'm Aaliyah Drummond.
I'm Avery Nykirk.
I'm Emma Asplin.
How does it feel to be the only group that escaped? What?
Clues did y'all use?
5.
We used 2. Good for you, you didn't escape.
Okay,
Somebody
alright,
should
well,
use more. Brooke.
what was the hardest part?
Jazzy arguing.
I'm Rhiannon Phillips. I'm Georgia Atkinson. I'm Brooklyn Vandale.
Alex Mills. Shayna. Shania.
Which escape room did you guys do?
We did the White Rose murders.
The hardest one. Yeah, the hardest one.
You guys did do the hardest one. How do you feel you guys did?
We did really good. We got to the third room. We figured out one thing on our own.
Of course. Alex fell asleep. Yeah, so we had 5 people.
Yeah.
So the hardest part was you were down to teammates.
It was a bit.
Did it help having teammates stick their arms into the room?
Absolutely not.
We pressed the wrong button.
Okay, thank you.
I think we should very well.
Thank you.
Oh, and just realized that my mic was muted. Anyways, yeah, I was just talking about the U18 female prep Buffaloes. Showing you guys the schedule now of the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy U15 team. They'll be in Caronport and Wilcox this weekend, playing in Caronport against the Prairie Hockey Academy on tomorrow, as well as on Saturday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And then the Notre Dame Hounds, they'll be facing off against them at 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time on Sunday. And Wilcox catch all the action on the official broadcaster of the CSSHL in Flow Sports. Taking a look at the other teams in the academy, the U17 prep males, they'll be featured on Live Barn. They'll be in South Suburban Sportsplex in Monumentum/Littleton, going to Colorado to play the Colorado Rampage, starting tomorrow and going all the way until Sunday. 2 games tomorrow on Friday, so 1 in the morning early at 8:45 a.m. Mountain Time, 3:15 p.m. Mountain Time is their second game, and then of course, as you can see on the screen, the rest of those times. Speaking of the U18 prep males, they'll be in Grand Forks. This will be able to be seen on Icon Hockey Cam, playing against the North Dakota team. Some early games on Saturday and Sunday, but a later game on Friday tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Time. And then finally for the female U18s, they'll be at home at Blackjack Stewart Arena on Flow Sports this Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time to play against the St. Mary's Hockey Academy again in a rematch from their home opener last Saturday. So yeah, tons of great stuff coming up this weekend for Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy and their teams that are going to be playing. And I guess you guys missed what I said when I was talking there and there's no sound coming out of my mouth. I'm looking like an idiot. But the U18 female prep team at that escape room, enjoying themselves, playing some mind games, bonding some more, and solving some puzzles, which is fantastic to see. But that's just about going to do it for this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. It was a rough one, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm unhappy about it, but hey, we'll only get better from here. It's only up from here on GShow Productions. We'll be coming to you again next Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Time. This episode next Thursday will be able to be seen on our YouTube channel as well as through our website on gshow.ca. So be sure to tune in. We're going to have more player interviews. Going to be talking to coach. Maybe going to have Gordy Tomlinson on the show. Pretty sure that's confirmed at this point. Always great to talk to him. And yeah, at some point we are going to start to actually broadcast hockey games together, me and Gordy Tomlinson. We're still working out some stuff in terms of how we're going to be able to do that, me doing these games from home instead of having to make the trip out to Pilot Mound all the time. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Those games will be able to be seen on Flow Sports this season for all the home Pilot Mound Hockey Academy games. But I want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in tonight or whenever you guys did to this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. Special thanks to our sponsors in Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. Terrico, serving Manitoba producers in the agricultural industry for over 80 years, as well as Gordy Tomlinson's brand, Goaltenders. We've got to pull up on the screen here for sponsoring another edition of the Buffaloes podcast. Until next week, folks, until next Thursday, I've been your boy, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth, giving you the salute, peacing out, and saying so long until next Thursday when we'll have more great guests in terms of players and coaches and other great content on the Buffaloes podcast. I'll leave you with Tyson Unro's rendition of, well, not rendition, but his theme song here for the Buffaloes podcast in March of the Buffaloes. So long, folks. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the hockey coming your way, and we'll see you then. Take care.